Hello everyone. In this video, let's cover some of the standard architectural drawing conventions. Architectural drawings visually communicate design and again communicate the information required to construct that design to everyone who's involved in the building process. And those designs, those drawings, are placed on sheets. An architectural sheet will generally will generally follow a set of conventions, but it varies by project type and by the office which is producing the drawings. So let's take a look, all right, at some standard architectural sheets. The sizes vary, and most sheets are going to be in landscape format, all right side up, kind of like a bound book. They are bound along the left. Let's take a closer look at that image, and we see that we have a title block along the right-hand side. Our drawing is placed in the center. The lettering and dimensions are meant to be read from this direction. Each sheet is going to have a title block. The title block is the best place to start reading a set of prints because they have some basic information, including the project name and its location, the architect, the different dates involved in this project, all right, who drew this drawing, and some information about the set in general, the sheet number, the number of total sheets in the set, and the sheet name. The next very important architectural drafting convention is scale. Scale is used to represent the relationship between measurement on a drawing and the corresponding measurement on the actual object. All right. When a drawing is to scale, it means that each element in that drawing is proportional, all right, related to the actual object. It's smaller or larger, mostly smaller in architectural drawings, by a particular percentage. Why do we use scale? Well, it allows us to represent buildings and their details to a smaller and more practical size than the original. All right, our drawings are not the full size of the buildings that eventually get built. Different drawings are going to use different scales, different standard scales, depending on what's being shown and how closely we need to look at that particular information. Here are some of the standard and typical scales. All right, you can see that building floor plans are typically drawn at 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. Details, on the other hand, are going to be a much larger scale. Again, we are zoomed in on those smaller details. They come at various scales, including 1 inch equals 1 foot, or 3 inches equals 1 foot. Let's take a look at sheet 3 of our brick veneer residence set. Go ahead and pause the video and grab this sheet out of your set. All right. And take a look at the various scales that are used on this sheet. You can see that in the top left here, we have a building section. All right, this is drawn at 1/4 inch equals a foot, all right, because we are looking at the entire building. But there's other types of drawings on this particular page, and you can see that we zoom in to closely look at some of the details, all right? For example, this porch is drawn at a much larger size, looks like 1.5 inch equals a foot. The final architectural drafting convention that I want to talk about today is called the alphabet of lines. And what this means is that we code the lines that we draw in drawings depending on what we're trying to convey. So the simplest one is a solid line, and we use that to show edges of different shapes. We call it an object line. The next most important one is called a hidden line, and that line is used to show edges that are hidden behind other things. All right. So in our orthographic views, in our two-dimensional views, we can show an object all the way through, as if it were transparent. Take a look at this illustration. In the top left, we have a mechanical part, all right, in a three-dimensional view, and it's drawn as solid. Looking directly below that, you can see the same parts in 3 dimensions, but now it's transparent. We can see some of the edges that were hidden before. Moving to the top right view, we have an orthographic, a front view of this same three-dimensional mechanical part. All right, and it's transparent. Look, we can see hidden things such as that countersunk screw hole, all right, that you wouldn't be able to see if you were just looking at a non-transparent object, regular object. And finally, in the bottom right corner, this is how we would draw this front view of this object using the solid object lines for any edges that are visible, and using the dashed hidden line type for anything that would be hidden in a solid object. So here's a chance for you to practice finding these different types of lines. Take a look at the plot plan on the right, and you're going to pause the video and see if you can find all the different types of lines that are shown in on the left there, the dimension line, extension line, etc. And finally, another chance for practice. Pull out the brick veneer drawing set. It's 5 different drawings, all right? And I want you to take a look. See if you can identify the types of drawings. Are they orthographic or are they pictorial? Here's a hint. There is one pictorial drawing in the entire set. I'll leave you to find it, all right? Next, see if you can identify the common architectural views. Is it a plan? Is it an elevation? Is it a detail? Right. Finally, take a look through the project and see if you can identify different types of lines, object lines, hidden lines, center lines, etc. And make sure that you can identify the scale of each drawing. In this video, you just learned about some common architectural drafting conventions, including drawing sheets, scale, and the alphabet of lines. Thanks, everyone.